Hi guys!
Hi.
Welcome back to 20s and Abroad. Today, me, Gerda, will be your host, and I'm with our lovely guest, Armands.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Happy New Year, wherever in the world you're listening.
Yes, indeed. And yes, I think we can jump right in. And Armands, let us know tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, where you're coming from. Yes, what are you doing today?
Oh, it's like a job interview.
Maybe there's too many questions there.
Yeah.
But you can just start about your childhood.
Somewhat similar childhood. Yeah, we went the same elementary even. Yeah, just learned that. But
Yes, indeed.
otherwise, yeah. So I just grew up basically here around Riga. So yeah, it wasn't like I didn't get to travel that much as a child, I think, and that's where I think a lot of the passion for travel comes from, because it was always something I wanted to pursue. And yeah, I just always had this passion about like traveling, exploring new things, and eventually, yeah, it was just I kind of had my mind set on going somewhere abroad. That's why I kind of eventually moved to another school, or specifically study English more in depth. And at the time, like, I also got involved heavily in sports and mixed martial arts, cage fighting. So I was like really involved in that, wanted to pursue that to the next level. And US always like seemed like this far-fetched dream. You can't really go there, but
You can.
eventually, yeah, I just kind of knocked the forbidden door down, I guess. Let's just say that. And yeah, it was fun few years in the US. So yeah, I've been back now for a couple of years, but spent 5 years in the States, in Arizona and Seattle, Washington, and then I lived for a year in London, and now I guess kind of back in the home base in Latvia now, and just live by the day, just take trips wherever kind of like opportunity comes. So.
Okay, I mean, I guess that was a great summary of it all, so thanks for listening. I'm kidding. But yeah, tell us a little bit about your languages. How many languages do you speak?
So yeah, this is kind of the basic Latvian 3 languages you kind of speak.
Fair enough.
You speak like kind of the Latvian, you kind of grow up knowing some street Russian,
But street Russian, I totally understand.
I wouldn't really attend probably a job interview fully in Russian. Yeah, let's just say that. But like, countries abroad, I probably could get away with being fluent in Russian, and then obviously English. Just kind of scary now in corporate, I think, environment. I speak English better than Latvian at this point, so.
I totally understand you, but in corporate world, it's like a very, very different language, I would say. Also, when you write proposals, it's more like financial. It's so financial, and it's just like a lot of
right.
Like, you need to learn that vocabulary, and just like in order to do the tasks, But,
and I guess, yeah, to add to that, I took like 1 or 2 years of French, but yeah, I didn't literally learn much apart from representing my school in the French singing contest, which is a whole story in itself. But it's like, I don't know how we ended up there. I think like there's people from French embassy were like, how did like these people get like invited here if they don't speak any French?
Oh my god!
But hey, we winged it. We sang that song in French, and people loved it. So that's all that matters.
How do you say croissants?
Croissant. Yeah.
Really? Does he say it?
And yeah, my name is Armand in French, I guess. Yeah, that's how all the French people call me, so I like it. So.
Okay, good. I think they're gonna still judge you after watching this. But all right, nice. Well then, I think we can. We got a little bit of basics of yours, from our way. But let's move right into your athletic side, and how did you pursue the American dream?
Oh, so yeah, in a way, like, it's like I mentioned, it was like kind of like seemed unattainable. I looked at tuition prices in US, and it's like, oh, forget about it. I'll maybe go to UK. That's like a long shot, maybe, But then eventually I was like getting more heavily involved in like martial arts, winning some tournaments. Like, I was just kind of like, grew up idolizing all of these athletes in the US, and I was like thinking that would be the dream to train with some of them, and then started pulling, kind of the strings together eventually. And I realized, maybe I could get a scholarship here, there, and then just start email blasting hundreds of schools eventually, and some people, gave me some money. It's like, oh, it's tuition $60K. You qualify for the $1K international scholarship. And it's like, oh, thank you. It's just not going to work out. So But yeah, and then I realized, yeah, my sport isn't an NCAA sport, so that kind of threw my plans out of the window. And I had like a wrestling background, so I went to wrestle in college too. And eventually, when I came to the U.S., like that was my plan to try out, be on the wrestling team. But then they cut the program right when I was about to like try out. After first year, they just cut the program.
I hate when they do that, but it's so it just happens, you know. You
Yeah,
can't
I mean,
predict it.
for me, it was just like, yeah, I wanted to try it out, but I feel bad for the guys that, you know, they had dedicated everything to like this college. So, but yeah, eventually I realized that's just going to be my side hobby, side hustle to pursue all of that. But then, yeah, it was just tons of studying for SATs, TOEFLs, and all that.
How did that go?
It actually went okay. Like I was still beat myself up over the results, but still it was pretty good. Like I think I got a pretty good score. So, and
Good. That's very good.
yeah,
A lot of kids are struggling, and I just thought maybe you have some tips how to like improve in those areas.
yeah. I mean, I guess I usually don't give much credit to Latvian education system, but here, like, I gotta give credit to my school. It just kind of prepared me for that, and then I was just there was a bunch of books online available how to pass, you know, TOEFL with the highest score and things like that, or study for SAT, and I was doing hundreds of those like mock tests constantly, so I thought I would pass with flying colors, but when I got the results, I was like, what happened?
Yeah.
But I mean, it was fine. And eventually, like, I wanted to go to Albuquerque, New Mexico. That was like one of the places, to University of New Mexico.
I know that school.
Yeah, so they offered me like a very generous scholarship, and it was kind of, I wanted to go there mainly because I think of the martial arts and Breaking Bad. I was just following that. But
You wouldn't be coming back to Latvia for sure if you could have gone there. I swear to God. I think so. It's just like it's super hot there. Also, school is amazing, and you know, palm trees everywhere. It's like a paradise, I think. So.
yeah, but I think my school, Grand Canyon University, after that eventually swapped in and just kind of
True.
elevated on top of that. It was just like, it was even more affordable. I mean, they spent like $1 billion on campus improvements over the last few years. So one of the fastest growing schools in the country, and they had like international reps calling me in the middle of the night. So like very personal, and it just kind of felt right. And then I also reached out to like one of the top MMA gyms in the area. There's just also, and they were just happy to see me there too. So it was just kind of, eventually I realized I'm committed to this, and yeah, I'll try to just spin all the plates. When I was 18, yeah, I just could do it all, conquer the world. So.
For sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Well, maybe you can, if you recall, of course. How was your first year when you started the college, and also how was the traveling experience to America?
Yeah, I mean, I had never even been on a plane, let alone flew to the U.S. So I just got these 3 connecting flights, 30 hours sleeping in the airports and stuff. But I was just literally like Kevin in Home Alone when I landed in America. I ran to the window, you know, overlooking New York. So that was basically me at first, and then I had like amazing roommates like my first year, so right away they were like, "Oh yeah, you're my friend. Oh, here's 6 more of my friends," and that was just.
That's amazing.
It was like I met more people in one day in Latvia, in US than I did in Latvia in the last couple of years, probably.
You met another Latvian?
No. So I met probably more people in one day than I did in like one year. Yeah.
For sure.
So, and yeah, it was just pretty quick to build multiple, you know, social circles you can hang out with, you know. So
yeah, but I'm very happy that you had an amazing roommate, because a lot of people who go to their first year in college, you know, they always end up with the worst roommate ever. So it's like like a must. So I don't know what happened to you. You must be very lucky.
I mean, we still butted heads a little bit, you know, because like eventually, you know, he's like, yeah, no, brings his girlfriend over, or something's like, oh, we get in trouble for that, like things like that, because we had like it was a Christian school, so it was very strict hall rules as well. So, but it's. You know, generally just meet like nice people in that school. It wasn't like you were forced like a religion in your face, you know. It was just get to meet nice people, and then eventually I became like one of the hall like kind of the leaders myself in my 3rd year of college too. So.
HR? Oh no, not HR. Sorry, the RA.
RA. It's kind of the same thing almost, but yeah. So yeah, that was kind of fun, and like I kind of wanted to be, the cool RA, and but then eventually the top management doesn't like it that you're just too lenient towards your guys. So sometimes you had to make like some tough decisions, that like, and then I mean, my boys were pretty cool too there, but yeah, at the same time, it's just like
it's a job, isn't it?
It's like I had to like sacrifice a lot that year, so I couldn't even pursue martial arts anymore, things like that.
Really?
So I was just like, yeah, I've had the job, I had to keep my scholarship, my academics, so I had to like intern places, things like that. So it just kind of was like all over the place. And you go to like one of these like hall meetings where it's like you're gonna get kicked out if you get one more strike, and I'm walking past and I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of my guys. I'm like, good for you, keep this up, guys.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just kind of let them have their fun, a little bit, because you kind of remember how your freshman year,
Oh, my freshman year was awful, but that's in the past. Yeah. Kind of saying what happened with your buddy, and like, I mean, my school wasn't too religious, I would say. But still, we just did not get along with my roommate. I was like super nice to her. She never spoke a single word to me. She was kind of trying to like, communicate, but I guess she didn't really tolerate me because I was waking up at 5 a.m. every morning, and she was bringing a lot of lads, guys in the apartment, and we also were sleeping like next to each other. So kind of disrespectful, I would say. Well,
it's like a kind of tiny dorm,
Tiny dorm.
Yeah, but it's I guess kind of is like I could tell like in U.S. some people were really cool about like. You're coming from another country, they want to learn more about you, but there was like a percentage of people that are like, what the hell, like why are you here, so it's like those type of people, I just eventually kind of can tell who are those type of people, and you just kind of just not hang out with them because there's just gonna be hundreds of more people you're gonna meet anyway.
That's facts. But like maybe just more of a personal question to you. How did you where did you find the scholarship, and like, did you just like reach out to school? That's it, or like you had like
I was just
agents?
emailing like tons of schools. Like I didn't have any agents, so there was this like Education USA thing that's like kind of works with the government in a way. So I was so they work I guess with U.S. government and some embassy in some capacity. So I just kind of was going there, and I mean they gave me some tips. They gave me those SAT books,
sweet.
And then they were just like basically put like a stamp of approval, and I sent like my grades to U.S. So I was mailing all these like applications to schools with like my grades.
How many?
Actually, it's probably like 10, something like that. But then eventually,
that must be expensive though.
It's just it's just kind of I realized it's gonna be an investment for the future, and. Yeah, and eventually, I think some schools were like really strict about it. Like, well, GCU was pretty much like, oh yeah, sure, looks good. Do you want to come? Yeah,
Nice.
it's just sign the paper, and that's it. And that's why I think I eventually chose GCU because they were just very smooth about the whole process.
Oh, okay. Well, that's very simple then. And so you said like, so what did you do like throughout the all 3-4 years? In college, and what happened afterwards? Yeah,
so I mean, I was just involved in a lot of things. I was like also in an international student club, so I was kind of eventually in leadership in that. So I just got to meet a lot of the international people, and then, although mainly, I really had met some of the closest people. Still talk to them to this day. So so I just really love some of these American families that accepted me for like those few years, and. I was just got to work, and like I was studying marketing and sports business, so got to work for Arizona Diamondbacks, which is like a major league baseball team. So
sick. That's actually super cool.
Yeah, I mean, I was wishing kind of to work in like for Coyotes or Suns, because Latvians are the hockey and basketball fans, but I guess I got to learn more about baseball in a way. And so I just interning all over the places for all these years, having a social life, because like spinning all the plates, and you eventually just realize you can't have like everything, at the same time. Like, I mean, had an ACL injury, so I had to drop like martial arts entirely for a couple of years. So it was just lots of spinning plates, and things like that. But it was just like, again, amazing experience, like meeting some of my idols in the sport. And it was like really not like replaceable. It's like some of my best years of my life, and
For sure, I agree with that. So, what's the education you got afterwards?
So I got bachelor's of science in marketing with a minor in sports management. If we get like politically.
Oh, okay. What happened with the arts part then? You never finished that?
So I guess it's arts.
Bachelor.
I was like, I guess I missed it. Yeah, so it's bachelor's, and it was a business degree essentially.
Okay, okay. But
so
it's weird how it's like Bachelor of Science and arts.
in marketing and in
Okay,
business
makes sense.
and
Okay.
sports management. Yeah, I guess I just
that's-
lost the train of thought. But yeah,
No,
so
that's totally understandable.
Yeah.
It's a little bit weird, thing in America,
yeah,
I
and
guess.
it was like a double major, but then right before graduation they said, "Oh no, it can't be a double major; it's a minor." I was like, "Oh, well, thanks, yeah, thanks for letting me know." Like,
That's unfortunate. I was one class away from having a double major, but I couldn't do it. So they told me to do certificate instead. So I don't understand. Like, it's so stupid.
yeah.
But America, I guess sometimes it's just
America. Yeah.
No, America's great. It's great. It's just sometimes these little things that kind of.
I mean, it's just for years I had to explain like everything. Yeah, you they kind of take for granted you understand some of these things, but you kind of don't. So.
Yeah,
I mean, eventually when I graduated, that's when like kind of welcome to the real world part like started, with like trying to find jobs and people like hiring you, yet then they're being like, oh, well, about that job offer, we realized, you don't have the right visa and all that, so.
Every single time I applied to I actually checked on LinkedIn, I applied 800 jobs in America. And
that's impressive.
other jobs, guess what? I got only one job or a job offer in America, and they were ready to sponsor me, but that place looked so sketch, and like it was in Georgia, Atlanta, and it was like this location was like in the woods or something. I was like, I don't think I'll pass, but thank you.
Yeah.
But what about you never thought about like getting OPT or?
I mean, I was like on OPT even like my junior year already. Yeah, so I was doing like all this Arizona Diamondbacks, all this. Like when I worked outside of campus, I needed OPT, but then need to get H-1B, which is like the next step, and then it was just
no.
Like my university first wanted to hire me. Like I was like really good with the marketing team. They wanted to hire me, and then it was such a weird thing. They were a for-profit university, which is like this weird thing. There was non-profit and for-profit schools, and they were just not eligible to hire me, which is like weird. And then there was
so awful.
And then there was it was just I felt like I had all these options, but all of them just started falling off. Like I also took job with this like sketchy like agency that like loaned me out to Cognizant Tech, and then they loaned me out through them to American Express, and I flew to Florida, and I arrived there, and it's like, oh, you're coming here? We didn't know. And it's like, I came in a suit with like 2 suitcases. So I spent a month there. It was kind of fun to see Florida, but then eventually I had to call it quits. So then I eventually got the job at ZipRecruiter, which is obviously like a big brand, big company, but they said the same thing. They can't hire you here, but hey, we're opening an office in London.
That's
If you need to
cool.
grow office in London, work there for a year or two, and then we'll see what happens. So just eventually I ended up in London.
Yeah, no, that's good. And how did you like London? I think we're gonna switch from America to Europe, so UK right now, and then we're gonna switch to Europe and gonna go all over the places. But go ahead.
Yeah. So I was gonna get visual in the background about that. But so London was it was like cool. I think it's really cool to be a tourist there. You should definitely visit. But I didn't really enjoy my year there, to be honest. Like. It was, I was just kind of in between 2 worlds, with my family and people here. They're in Latvia, and then all my friends that I had to leave are in the U.S. So you're in this place from ground zero, just trying to meet people, going to bars basically, and
Pubs,
doing things like that. And it's just eventually just realize, it's not like a lifestyle you want to live. And I like nature, I like outdoors, and there's just not having a car, being stuck in this, tiny apartment in downtown London just wasn't for me. But I mean, I was still making waves in my job, so I was happy about that. I got back into martial arts, which luckily kept me sane. So we got to compete at European Championships again while I was in London and do that. So that was amazing. But then COVID struck right around that time, and that's our kind of timeline in London ends, where we basically get the announcement that we've been all let go because of COVID cuts, and now basically cut half of the company, and including most people in UK. So, and that's how I'm here in Latvia now.
Oh God, I can't believe that was already kind of 3 years ago. So it's insane.
I guess two-ish, yeah.
Two-ish, yeah. But we're going into year 3, which is awful, I think. And I hope this is gonna end soon. But I mean, what can we do?
Right.
But so right now you're back in Latvia, and what are maybe your biggest takeaway? Maybe 3 biggest takeaways of traveling and going abroad. I would say study abroad and working abroad in general.
Yeah, I just kind of think all these new perspectives you get to see, I think it just really opens up your mind, because I think especially like some parts of the world, even like here in like more like Northern Eastern Europe, life's like much slower. So it's just really cool to see that there's like different ways, and in a way it just kind of inspires you later to just keep living this lifestyle, of traveling. So, and I think it's good. Like for first it was kind of like, sad that the journey in US came to an end, but then now it's just been kind of like, it's like I got a good home base here, and I can still travel places, because through all this journey and work, like I got to meet a lot of top recruiters in London, so I can get remote jobs now. And that's kind of brings me back to one of my friends, Isaac Timothy. Check him on Spotify. And
I'm gonna listen now.
in slow insert, yeah. And yeah, when he visited me in London, we were talking in like 2018, 19, yeah. And they were like, imagine life where you could like be remote, and and you can work, and not worry about being present in the office. And we just talked a couple of weeks back about this again. That's like, great, it just happened. It came
happened.
true. So yeah, and then basically, yeah, it's just nice to travel. Like this year, like I went to like a little Euro trip around like Switzerland, Germany, a lot of these countries, Italy. And then one of my U.S. friends, him and his wife are in the U.S. military, so they live in Spain now, and I got to spend a month there with them. So that was amazing. Live in Spain for a month as well.
That's super cool. I think having international friends all over the place, it's the best thing ever. You can just travel the world.
Yeah, and then I recently just went to the U.S., so it was like 2 years, 712 days I counted, like till I hadn't been back.
You counted that?
Yeah, I googled it, to be fair.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just also like my company said, oh, you're gonna keep going back for training constantly, and then it's just 2 years later, like, wow. But it was just had amazing Thanksgiving with them, and like got to travel, got to go to Texas as well for a little bit, and it was just kind of had like nice closure, like seeing like my friends starting families now, like having different types of jobs. So it was like really cool to see how things have changed over like the last 2 years.
For sure. That's also a very awesome way how to end 2021, year 2021. So that's a good one. But going back to your Europe trip, yeah, I want to know a little bit about that. Maybe you have some funny stories or some scary experience. Maybe you saw, I don't know, bear, or like somebody was attacked by a moose. I don't know.
No, it was like kind of safe experience. I think like as a guy, like you get invited to a lot of these, strip clubs constantly, like, and they're like in your face, and they just want to, scam you out of your money or something.
Okay.
So yeah, I was in Poland. They were like all over the place, and I could just see it in their eyes. No, you don't want to talk to me. And it was like in Prague. Like Prague, where you just recently went, was one of my favorite places. But that was like one place this guy wouldn't like leave me alone. And then eventually, I literally had to come face to face forward to Herod. It's just like, get out of my face, like right now. And then eventually, then at that point, I was just like,
he wanted to exchange money?
No, he was just wanted to, you go to the like strip club here. There's like
dudes.
hundreds of girls there, just
they do that on the street, but not for women, obviously. But
yeah, it's just kind of different perspectives. But otherwise, like Europe like seemed pretty safe in general. Yeah,
very safe.
Yeah, relatively compared to the U.S. with like guns and everything, because in Phoenix, like you constantly like have guns everywhere. Like I went shooting with my friends recently, so that was a lot of fun. But even on the streets, like it was like my school was in kind of a developing neighborhood, and you could hear gunshots sometimes at night. And I was once actually doing a campus tour, and you could
No.
hear gunshots outside of campus. My phone's buzzing, and people on my tour are like, "What's going on?" And there's police choppers, going like in GTA pretty much. And then you're like, "Oh yeah, all the news. They're filming the news. Yeah, look at this nice pool right we got on campus."
Oh wow! And I thought I had bad experience in America. Well, no.
I think Portland's like, I hadn't been there much. Like I just went through there once, but yeah, it seemed pretty safe. Like
We have just homeless people a lot. Like some of them are kind of mentally ill, and then they just kind of can maybe just not physically attack you, but just yell at you and say some words. But I was actually attacked my freshman year, so by like a homeless man with a sharp thing in his hands, and he ran towards me, and I was like running towards the store, and I luckily got inside, but the doors, automatic doors, were super slow, and he just pushed me on the ground with his foot, and I was like, okay, sweet.
that's scary. That's really scary. Yeah, like. Thing is, like when I was actually about to buy my first car in the U.S., that was like kind of like
actually thought about that.
yeah. So I was walking actually, so that's pre Uber days. Like I walked over, and then I had some like bad guys in the lowrider pull up next to me with a gun in one hand outside of their window and a cigarette outside, and they just kind of tried to pick a fight with me, and they had like guns in their hands. So I was like. Growing up in Riga, being mixed martial artists, you walk around the streets, but here it's like, I guess I walked in the wrong neighborhood here.
Oh my god.
So yeah, it's like, I mean,
good experience.
If you want to throw fists, go at it, but yeah, if you pull guns, that's a whole different conversation. Like, yeah.
So, I mean, any other experience you have? Because it sounds like you have like crazy experience in America, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's maybe in like London, it was like kind of in a similar way. Like in London, they are not pro guns; they're all like have knives, and they try to sell you cocaine everywhere.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was also if you're not interested in buying from them, they'll get you kind of aggressive, and and then eventually I started shoving a guy as well. And then my martial arts coach kind of came in to just kind of separate us, and he just whispered, "Yeah, you might beat them up, but they're gonna come and stab you like 5 minutes later, so be careful."
Oh my god!
So it's a journey, So it's just kind of fun to look back at it. But yeah, be safe, guys out there.
For sure. I mean, in Riga you don't see anything like that. Maybe in Moskachka, which is like. I don't know, like
or
one of the
just someone drunk coming at you, and you're like, well, yes, thanks for coming, but nothing like this. So.
No. I know, like people try to rob the cars while people are sitting in cars. My sister actually experienced that last year. She was in Moskachka, which is like. I don't know the region where people say it's unsafe.
That's such a whole conversation what Moskachka is for the foreign listeners here. Yeah.
It's in Riga, Latvia, but it's very close to the city center. And yeah, she was just sitting and she forgot to lock the doors. And just two guys started like looking inside of the window, and she closed the doors and they started like opening the door. And she saw that some guy was reaching in the pocket, and she literally thought the guy is gonna like take the knife or like something out, so she just started the car and like drove away.
That is scary. Yeah,
it's
like
insane.
I don't think like I had like experience where I've been tried robbed in the car. Yeah, I think I know in Phoenix homeless people at the red light sometimes come like begging for money, things like that. And actually some of the nicest people I've met, like, cause sometimes like we had this thing in US where we had these care packages. So instead of giving them money for drugs, you now have your water, everything, all these necessities, and you hand these out, and then
as long as they accept it, though.
Yeah. So people in Phoenix are pretty nice about it. They're like, brother, like I could tell in your eyes, you're like a nice person. So I had some of these good conversations. Or like New York City, you're gonna give him a dollar. It's like that's it. Like, and it's like, well, we'll take my dollar back.
I'll take it back then.
Yeah, so it was just, it's very interesting how, like, that's why I don't treat U.S. as, like, one. Like, I think every state is, like, its own thing. Like, having lived in Phoenix for 4 years, lived in Seattle for 1 year, spent 1 week in New York City, and just...
You did?
Yeah, so one of my best friends here from Latvia has actually studied movie. Like, he was, like, a producer, so he studied, like, movies and all that in New York University, so...
That's a good school, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so he had a dual citizenship, so in that way he's, like, eligible for a lot of the scholarships, so it was, like... amazing guy. Like he's just one of the smartest people I know. So, and I got to live with him in New York for 1 week, and being like kind of very laid back in Phoenix. Yeah, I was just meeting service people in New York. It's like a whole different experience because like in Phoenix they're like, how are you doing? Yeah, like what do you want started today? Well, in New York it's like, you're honored that I'm going to serve you today.
Literally.
So make your freaking mind up right now. Like get a sandwich. Get out. Like
that's what I've heard about that too. Wow. Well, what other states have you visited then?
That's like a long list because I bought a car because in a way
you traveled the.
So I probably would have done even more driving looking back now, but like I did go, I need a visual for this. Yeah, that's Arizona, California, Oregon, Seattle, and Washington, Idaho, Nevada, Hawaii, New York, New Jersey, Florida, North Carolina, Georgia. I guess if
Mexico,
you start counting airports, Illinois maybe.
Oh, don't count airports.
Okay, then it's probably around 10-ish, something like that. But Mexico, it's like funny story. So it was just like we never ended up going. Like my freshman year, I think I didn't have my passport on me once when we were like I went to San Diego, and one of my Mexican friends said, "Oh yeah, let's go to Mexico." And
don't do that though.
I didn't have. Well, he was Spanish speaker, so it was safe with him. But yeah, and just in general, like after that, we never ended up going because I think some of the people got robbed. From my school, and then my friend literally had a flat tire and he had to look for help, and I had like some of these guys, like I think entered Mexico and couldn't come back because they didn't have U.S. passports.
Insane.
They went after a Tempe party to Mexico in the middle of the night and couldn't come back.
That's
never ended up going to Mexico, but maybe one day. Stay in touristy places. Don't drive on the highways.
I was in San Diego this year too, and there was like 5 girls. Yeah, 5 of us, and we're like, let's go to Mexico. And that's probably the dumbest idea ever, so don't do that. That was like, when you kind of like have some ciders, and you kind of like think about it for a second, but then of course your rational thinking comes in, and you're like, I don't think that's a good idea. But yeah,
so I kind of do regret a little bit that I didn't end up going, but yeah, in a way that's like it's maybe saved me from like being locked up in jail and like trying to like pay money to get out of jail or something,
or becoming cartel or something like one of them. No, of course, but okay, I don't know, like there's a lot of things that has happened to you. Tell us a little bit about your future now, and like what countries are you planning to visit, because I think we're gonna slowly wrap this up. So yeah, we could go on for hours and hours, but yeah, it's that's great. That's perfect.
Yeah, so it's nice to have this like home base, like I said, in Latvia now with a remote job, like being like in e-commerce where it's like kind of hot market right now because of COVID, as well. So and then having a flexible company you can work at, so that's why like I'm planning to definitely take a few trips this year, probably do like another Euro trip, maybe countries I haven't been. Like I went to Italy for 1 day only like last year, so I want to really explore Italy. And Thailand has been like on my bucket list forever, so like since being a martial artist, I want to live in like a Muay Thai kickboxing camp for a couple of months.
That sounds insane. And also, I would recommend going to Lantern Festival in Thailand, where I don't even know what I'm saying. It's like light up the lanterns, and just like it's all lit up in like lights, and it's just so beautiful. It's just insane.
Yeah, I think that's just one thing from Thailand. I think there's like hundreds of things I want to do there. Like I love the food, like pad Thai, like spicy, like curries, pineapple curries, things like that. So. And then I want to do maybe Japan as well, like so some of the Asian countries I haven't been to. So yeah, one of my friends I actually used to do podcast with, we were actually supposed to go 2020 to all these Asian countries, but then COVID struck, so I think we might do it 2022 after all. So I think like Japan, Thailand are some of the things on my bucket list, and then obviously you can always go back to the States at some point. So
yeah, so all the people from Asian countries, if you do listen to this podcast and and you decide to, maybe you can give a little couch put this guy right here.
Uh,
You know, a room, baby. You know, yeah, maybe just reach out or something.
It's the
That's-
same. Come to Latvia. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
not right now, and everything's melting right now and really gray.
Freezing, yeah.
But yeah, come maybe winter time or summertime. Don't come like spring or fall. I would
No,
say so.
no.
But
no.
yeah, we'd be more than happy. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. And one last question. Why would you? No, maybe. What is maybe like your oh my God, I lost the word. What is your recommendation for kids out there? Why would they travel? Why would they go study abroad? Why would they work abroad? So, what is like? Yeah.
I think it's always about your options. You got to realize one day you're going to be 30, you know, and you're going to have, you know, a family, kids. They'll have to go to a music practice or something like that. So then you're not going to be able to go travel or just all of a sudden drop the kids off and
Yes.
go away for like 2 months, you know. It's just these ages, yeah, you have this great opportunity. This is not about necessarily maximizing your income as soon as you can. It's just see different perspectives, you know, just meet people, and then will probably lead you to better things eventually than just, you know, kind of living kind of the standard life, you know. You eventually enroll in your local university, graduate, get a car and apartment on loan, start a family, and then be stuck forever. So I mean, day for family will come, you know. It's just, yeah, be young, just enjoy all these things. Don't beat yourself up if you don't have the highest paying job right out of college or something. Just enjoy life.
Well, that's very well said. So I'll also say that this is a perfect note to end on. So there's also many opportunities for you guys, and tons of scholarships if you actually just Google it and just, you know, check it out and reach out to people.
Especially like now, I think it's just during COVID, obviously a lot of these things, you know, became like not so available. But now, like, I think these schools are interested in having finally, like, you know, foreign students back, because, you know, there's just enrollment's been down a lot of the schools. So yeah, definitely just check it out. You don't have to go to US necessarily. There's plenty of schools around the world, you know.
For sure. And some maybe in Riga, Latvia as well. So check them out. Like medicine schools, I guess they're pretty decent. That's what people say.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a lot of, like, you see a lot
Law
of foreign
as well.
lot of foreign people now in Latvia now too. Like when I was growing up, it was just, you know, you saw someone that didn't look like typical Latvian, you were like, what was that? And now it's like pretty common, you know, you see people all over. It's getting very diverse. So
Very, very true. Well, thank you so much, Armands. It was very, very awesome having you on our podcast, on our video as well. So yeah, we're just gonna probably end this right here, and we wish you all the best for 2022, sorry. And yeah, I hope you're gonna travel the world this year and meet new people, see new places, get money, be wealthy, healthy, you know, and everything else, everything that you desire. So that's my wish for you this year.
oh, thank you. I wish you the same. Looking forward to seeing you again.
Yes, exactly. We should probably do another episode maybe when you travel a little bit more, or like, you know, meet new people or whatever, and just maybe come with somebody back to Latvia, and then we can do another episode of this. So that would be awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That would be awesome. Well, thank you guys for listening. Bye.
See you later.